Howdy ho, everyone. Welcome to the show. Are you excited? Are you excited as my dog Cairo? Look at him. You heard me say his name. Sleep. Sleep. You're so much more well behaved when you're sleeping. Go back to sleep. So, what's up? I'm glad you guys liked the intro. I did a little bit of adjustment to it since our last live video earlier this week. You probably didn't even really notice much, but it literally took me about 8 hours to do. So yay for me for wasting my time like that. Anyway, let's muster up right quick. You guys know our roll call. You know our traditions. Where you from? What you munching on? I'll give you a second to type it in the chat. And for those of you who own an eccentric mug, raise them up. This is the new Starship to Mars mug. Get yours now. Link in the description below. Make any drink drinkable. Burns the throat. It's sparkling water because it's a celebration day, and we're going to talk about why here in a little bit. We have Alberta, Cape Rogers, Iowa, Oklahoma, land of tornadoes, Japan. I would love to go to Japan sometime. Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas. What up, Tex? Texas. Rhode Island. Columbus, Ohio. Howdy, neighbor. Ohio and mac and cheese. Australia, drinking red wine. Ooh, you fancy, huh? Yeah, for those of you I know Australia is not in Europe, but for those of you that are in Europe, it's probably pretty late. Thanks for tuning in with us regardless. Appreciate you. Chicago, San Diego, Illinois. We've got our usual suspects in here. Idaho and Taco says Mod Ryan Ritter. Thank you, mods, for modding. I'll check in with you guys here in a second. New Zealand. How could you call New Zealand New Zealand? It's like an oxymoron. New Zealand is nice. At least all your postcards are nice. Makes it look nice. And the UK is here, of course. Brooklyn. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I'll get to more of you in a little bit later. But SpaceX should have started their stream right about meow. Ooh, look at that. Look at that timing. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. Boom. So yeah, they started their little intro, but we're not going to get to that yet. First, we'll keep it on this screen. I'll minimize this. First, let's quickly go over the synopsis, and then we'll go over some good news to share with you. Some of you may have heard, some of you may have not. Go to spacex.com/launches, scroll down, and you get the little synopsis here of this mission. So 2 things of note I want to say about this 16th Starlink flock. One is that this is a record booster flight. Okay? That's a big deal. 7th flight for this reused booster. SpaceX hasn't done that yet. They have several boosters up to number 6. This one's going for 7. So fingers crossed. I know some SpaceX employees tend to get a little anxious. A little anxiety runs through their blood when they have to push the envelope a little bit with these record setters. But we're hoping for them. We're pulling for them. Let's do it, guys. What was the other thing? There were 2 things. That's one. The other is, scroll on down here to the countdown and then to the actual mission itself, the timeline. This is a short Starlink launch, something we haven't seen in a little while. I appreciate that because it's getting late and I still have a few more things to do tonight. So they're going to end this. They're going to deploy the satellites at about T minus 15 minutes or T plus 15 minutes, sorry. And then we'll call it a night. Okay, let's get back to this. I recognize that guy. But let's go to monitor number 2. So for those of you who may not be aware, this is Lab Padre's YouTube channel. There we go. Starlink. I got Starlink on the brain. Starship did its 4th static fire just a few hours ago. Not even. Moon time. And guess what? Elon says it was a great success. And he's aiming for next week for the 15-click flight. We're there, guys. Rock on. All right. And according to Cameron County, it looks like Monday is going to be their primary day. If that holds, we don't know for sure yet, but that's what they're aiming for. Another awesome piece of news on Twitter, Peter Beck, Rocket Lab CEO, tweeted out a really cool video that Rocket Lab managed to capture with their last mission. Check this out. Make sure your sound is on. I think mine is. I'll turn it up at my end. Wait for it. In space, no one can hear you scream, but they sure can hear your rockets ignite. Pretty sweet, brah. And back down to my decibel level. There we go. Thought you guys appreciate that. That's pretty cool. I put it to some music on my Twitter, so you have to go to my Twitter if you want to watch that. Otherwise, I'll get demonetized. And the last thing I want to show you guys today, aliens are leaving their crappy art all over our planet. Nothing to worry about. I don't get art on this planet. I definitely don't get art from other planets. I don't. They found this monolith out in the middle of the Utah desert. You know, somewhere, some 2001 Space Odyssey fanboy nerd is telling his mom that his prank finally paid off. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Pretty exciting stuff. Okay, we do have some new eccentric family members from our almost previous attempt before they scrubbed it last time. And so I still don't really know why, but and we'll talk about more about that on Friday. James Cutbirth is now an eccentric member. Nice picture, bro. He must be an aviator. Respect. I too was an aviator and still am on Flight Simulator. Moving on. Jared Hollis is also a new eccentric member. I love the haircut. I wish I had it. Give me your hair. I will take it in wig form. John G. Thanks for the super chat tip and the fist bump. I appreciate you fisting me. I like it. Only cost you $3. I'm a cheap date. Robert Fallon is back. Roll call. Good to see you, dude. No, it's good to see you. Or see your picture at least. Can't really see you. But I'm glad you can see me. Otherwise, we'd have to cut this stream because something's not working right. Who else we got? Okay, the nerd is here. Modding. Thank you, nerd. Clint Davis. What's up, bro? Payphone Bones back. JD Powell. Clint got you. Moving on up. Scroll on up. Florida's in the house. Ireland's in the house. Vancouver. Nice. And Ontario. Merrickville, Ontario. Welcome, everyone. All right, let's see what they're talking about right quick. And Alaska's here.
Location. Within the northern U.S. and southern Canada, we are focused on rural and remote areas where there is no easy access to fiber or cable. Now, on your screen there, you see an example of one of our service areas, or what we call a cell. This particular cell is in an area of Minnesota near the town of Hitterdal. Hey, Hitterdal, folks. So, based on this example, if you lived in Hitterdal, Hawley, Winnipeg Junction, or the nearby area, we could probably service you. But if, for example, you lived in Lake Park, you'd be just outside of our current coverage area. Now, we have cells like this all over the northern US and Canada within the 45 to 53 degree latitudes. And with every launch of Starlink satellites, we enable our team to serve more and more of these cells. If you're hoping to receive an invite, all you need is a bit of patience. At our current pace, we expect to expand our beta in a notable way very early next year, in the late January-February timeframe. If that sounds interesting to you, head.
So we'll talk about this more on Friday, but SpaceX engineers for Starlink did Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and we'll go over that, like I said, on Friday. Some interesting details that they released. I found it to be interesting, at least. Hellfire Orbit, good evening, Kev. Well, good evening to you, sir. Hellfire is a patron. Dude, if you want to become a mod, let me know. Just send me a message on Patreon. I can hook you up so I can more easily spot you in the chat. Give you that little wrench icon. We'll do it. You can join Team Blue. Mike Clark, it's 2 a.m. here in England, and I managed to stay awake for the show. Hi, Kev. I'm glad to have you. Oh, man. To be honest, I was feeling a little tired before I started the stream, but you guys amp me up. I feed off your energy like an energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows. I highly recommend that Hulu show.
We'll hear a similar call out for the second stage. And you can really get a sense of the wind right on the pad from those streams from the liquid oxygen venting off the stage.
So that's normal. Smoking is normal for rockets. It's bad for you. Smoking's bad for you, okay? But it's good for rockets, or it'd go I know I do that all the time, but we never know when we have new people that just don't know what's going on. They're like, oh my God, the rocket's on fire, or it's smoking, it's melting or something. No, it's normal. These grid fins right here that help it steer once the booster re-enters in the atmosphere are made out of titanium. Biggest piece of single titanium made in the world, and they're about the size of a car. A little bit bigger, actually, I think. Have to check out those measurements for exact, but I think they're like 7 meters long by 3 meters wide. So pretty hefty car, I guess. I do not have a Tesla, but I would love one. I'm saving up for a Cybertruck, but at the same time, I don't think my car that's 10 years old, actually my car's 2008 Mustang, so it's 12 years old, almost 13. It's on its last leg, and I don't know if it's gonna make it until Cybertruck rolls out in 2 years. Is that when Cybertruck's actually gonna be out on the streets for the consumer? So I don't know. I've been saving up for a new ride for about 3 years now because I want to put down a hefty payment on my car when I get one. So I'm thinking either a Honda Ridgeline truck, because I could really use a truck, but I would love to own a Tesla. Specifically, Cybertruck would be my first choice.
Fleet without propellants are fully loaded on Falcon 9. Coming up here, we will have a pretty large white cloud of venting coming from the transporter erector. That's the truss structure next to Falcon 9.
She's smoking now. She's an angry rocket.
Cooling and propellants, as well as communication to Falcon 9 until liftoff. So coming up, transition to startup on Falcon 9.
7th flight for this booster, guys. Come on. She can do it.
And startup.
So again, that means from here, Falcon 9 will begin to pressurize those tanks, the first stage and second stage tanks with our pressurant for flight.
LDs go for launch.
Great news from the launch director.
Stage 2, press for flight.
Giving their go for flight. So with that, just 30 seconds to go. Vehicle looking healthy. Looks like we may have just squeaked in under the wind.
Seconds and counting.
It's a
Starlink
squeaker.
satellites also continuing to look healthy. Why don't we listen in and watch terminal count?
I didn't even know the weather could have been an issue tonight. Good to know.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition
It's a win.
and liftoff.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
There must be some hefty clouds totally blocking it out.
40 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 successfully lifting off from pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, carrying those 60 Starlink satellites into orbit. This particular booster lighting up the Florida coast for a 7th time. Now, we just began throttling down those Merlin 1D engines for maximum dynamic pressure, or max Q. That's the point when the stresses on the vehicle are the highest from the combination of the vehicle speed and the density of the atmosphere.
The lawyer wife drives a Lexus, all right? There's no way she's giving me any money for my car.
And now that we're through the point of maximum dynamic pressure, the loads on the vehicle, the structural loads, are going to drop off as the density of the atmosphere continues to decrease. And Falcon 9 continuing to speed up. We're about a minute away from 3 events. First of those is main engine cutoff, or MECO. That's where we'll shut off those 9 Merlin 1D engines. You can actually see the plume expanding from them on your camera. We shut those down.
Engine chill started.
In preparation for stage separation. That's where the first and second stages will separate from each other. First stage continuing on a parabolic arc to make its way back to the drone ship, while the second stage continues on to the third event, second engine start number 1. We actually just heard the call out there for MVAC chill-in beginning. So during that third event, second engine start 1, we'll ignite the Merlin vacuum engine that'll propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites into an elliptical orbit. And we chill in those turbo pumps with liquid oxygen just to get them ready for ignition.
Camera inside the inner stage. Let's see it separate. I always look at the right hand screen. Yeah, the right hand side of the screen. You can see that bag move, whatever that is. Looks like a tinfoil bag.
Left-hand side of your screen.
Ignition.
First stage separating, second stage ignition. Love that green glow from the T-tab ignition. Both vehicles
like
back
there
on
was
their way.
plasma buildup around the fins
we'll
already.
Expect to see fairing deployment off of
You
the
see
second
that?
stage. Look for that on the right-hand side of your screen.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Beautiful shot there of those Starlink satellites. Finally getting to see space directly.
It might have been from the
now that we're outside
the engine of the second stage, though.
atmosphere,
Now that I think about it,
we don't need those fairing halves anymore, so we'll jet them back to Earth to recover them. As a reminder, we do have our recovery ships, Miss Chief and Ghost Searcher, waiting at the Atlantic to scoop up both of those fairing halves.
On the left-hand side of your screen there, we saw the very last remnants of night lights visible off the Florida coast. That was a pretty awesome sight there as Falcon 9 lifted off. Now there we can see second stage with a healthy glow there on the MVAC engine. As second stage heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, the first stage will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. Now, if you happen to have followed along with our most recent launch on this past Saturday, where we launched out of Vandenberg Air Force Base, we
Exciting.
performed 3 maneuvers in that instance because we were returning to launch site where we were landing the first stage back on land. Tonight, we are landing on the drone ship, as Shiva said before. Of course, I still love you. So we only need to perform 2 maneuvers because we are continuing the arc trajectory of the first stage. So that first burn is the entry burn, and we will reignite 3 of the 9 M1D engines at the base of the first stage. And this will help to slow that stage down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. And then the second burn is the landing burn. This is a single engine burn that brings the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to make a soft landing
on a nominal
on
trajectory.
the drone ship. So we heard there.
yeah. So we have telemetry for this one, guys. If you notice, it's because SpaceX has taken the reins back from NASA. So all is well now. You guys can enjoy the stream. I'll stop talking so you can enjoy it more.
Our drone ship is parked a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean. It is, as you saw, a nighttime launch, and unfortunately, we can't really see anything. So we don't have very good first stage footage to show you at this point in time. But we will bring that back in once we get some landing burn action, re-entry burn action. Checking in on second stage, everything continues to look good. The 60 Starlink satellites that are on board today are joining the constellation of nearly 900 that we've already placed on orbit. These satellites are designed to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to folks like us here on Earth. And this is especially...
Yeah, still awesome to watch. Even better with Kevin calling it. I'll interject here then. So officially, the booster has launched successfully 7 times, completed its mission. Now it just needs to rescue itself by landing on that drone ship, so it can be used for an 8th time, right? Ultimately, the magic number is 10. That's what SpaceX is aiming for. But Elon says, hey, we might be able to shoot for 100 here in the near future. Ooh, check out the left side of your screen. You're about to see a show. Boom. All right. Get that re-entry burn. slowing it down so it doesn't rip itself apart when it doesn't belly flop, but when I'm thinking Starship, when it smashes into the atmosphere. Very cool. Again, those grid fins are, I think, 7 meters by 3 meters, I believe. So like the size of a pretty decent sized car, I guess. Like a single piece of titanium, biggest there is in the world. Titanium's very expensive too. They used to use, I think it was stainless steel metal before they switched to titanium, but you could tell after one single launch, after re-entry, the fins would have more holes in the holes. Like the grid fins already have holes in them, but there would be bigger holes in it because the plasma would eat through some of those fins before. And if you were paying attention after the stage separation, you saw a little ring come off of the bell, the engine bell here. And I get this comment all the time, and that's because that ring that came off once the engine started up, that was just for like bell nozzle integrity during its journey. Aluminum, was that what the fins were made out of? Thanks for reminding me. I don't think it was aluminum foil, but you might be right with the aluminum. Alex is here. We can all relax now. Good to see you, Alex. We were all worried where you were. Oh, here we go. Drone ship landing.
Terminal guidance.
MVAC engine has begun to throttle down.
Landing burn startup.
There we heard the call out that landing burn has begun, so we should see that come into the screen here just momentarily.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy.
Come on, 7,
Landing
baby.
legs have deployed. Here it comes.
I don't see a big boom. That's a good thing.
All right. And for the 7th
Personal
time,
best.
this Falcon has landed. This marks our 61st successful recovery of a Falcon 9
excited.
stage.
Yeah.
And as
Party.
the smoke clears, we can get a good view there. And we just heard the call out that we had SECO 1, or second engine cut off 1. So at this point in time,
Insertion.
and there we heard the call out that we have good orbit for that second stage. So now that stage 2 is, it's going to coast in this orbit for a few minutes. During this time, it will start to spin along its central axis, giving the Starlink satellites the momentum that they need to space themselves out over time as they deploy. So we're going to take a quick break here, but we will be returning.
All right, you heard the call out there. Terminal insertion. That's what she said. Good stuff. Yeah, let's see those smiley face Elon emojis. I'm sure he's smiling right now. And all the SpaceX employees can relax and sigh of relief as they continue on pressing for the 10th flight of a booster. I guess 8 would come next, but 10 is the goal. Elon thinks they can hit it next year. I'm hoping early next year. At this rate, I think they could do early next year. Is this its 7th landing on a drone ship? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this landed on a drone ship all 7 times. I mean, it's a pretty decent bet, but I don't know if it's ever landed on a landing pad before, this booster. Couldn't tell you. I didn't look that up. There's a lot of people that follow this specific booster, like the serial number and everything, and I've seen them, but I'm not memorizing which number belongs to which booster. I can't do that. My memory sucks. There's no way. I think they say a normal person can easily memorize, what is it, 7 numbers. I can do about 3. So I'm pretty behind the curve. Michael Ernest, hey bro, only one SpaceX launch in December. No, we have, I don't think that's right. We have CRS-21, the resupply mission to the space station on December 5th. And I believe there's supposed to be another Starlink mission sometime after that as well. So I think we should have more than one. Not including Starship, because there's a chance Starship might launch in December. But as of right now, it's the end of November. We'll see if that date holds. Carrie says this booster is B1049. I'll go with that. I can remember the B part and the 1 part, but that's about it. I can't even remember the 0. Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, Keith, that might be the way to go, but I think we've already had this whole discussion about Excel spreadsheets in today's midweek preview for members. Yeah, so the lawyer wife, she is the queen of spreadsheets and color charts. I should have her get on that. It's ridiculous. You should see her law school, the pictures of her law school whiteboards. It's just incredible. The stuff that she put together while she was in law school and studying for the bar exam. That would, like, tracking out all these booster serial numbers and what each booster has done and the name and everything. That would be a good job to put her on. Justin, that's why 911 is only 3 digits long. Yep. And knowing me in a state of panic, I'd probably dial 119. Dyslexic. See, yeah, Cairo, whoops, that's to me. Let me get to Doggo Cam. Cairo used to be super pumped for SpaceX launches. Yeah, we're talking about you, deal with it. But yeah, he's starting to think that they're old. He still likes the landings, but he slept through this one. He's not as big of a SpaceX fan as us. But I'm sure he'll be here for Starship. Little turtle. Where's your brother at? Hey, Kunu. Kunu. No, you're Cairo. Learn your name. Come here, Kunu. There he is. Oh, there's a chair right outside my office, and that's where Kunu, he was left on that chair, laying on that chair outside my door. Now he's laying in his usual spot. Mike Clark looks like it's going to pass overhead here in England in a few minutes. Of course, the sky is totally socked in with clouds. Annoying. Yeah, it was overcast here today too. Pretty annoying. Sucks. I need me some blue skies.
Starlink launched today. Now, if you're just joining us, we had a successful liftoff at 9:13 p.m. Eastern Time. Successfully recovered our first stage for the 7th time. That's a first time for us. And you're currently looking at a live view of the 2nd stage in a nominal orbit around planet Earth. We're coming up on deployment of the Starlink satellites. You can see the stack of those on your screen in just about 10 seconds. Now, over the course of the break, we began spinning the 2nd stage along its central axis. That's to give those Starlink satellites a little bit of momentum upon separation.
I like to make this analogy. So there's 60 Starlink satellites in this deck. It's like a deck of cards. In a deck of cards, you have 52 cards. And just think, like, 52 cards, that deck's pretty thick. Now, just think if every card was a Starlink satellite costing about 300,000, I think the number is. Again, I'm not good with numbers, and that's a 6-digit number. But that's an expensive deck of cards that they're releasing right there. That's a billionaire's deck of cards. Did you guys see that? I think it was today or yesterday, Elon surpassed Bill Gates as the number 2 richest man in the world. I think, isn't Jeff Bezos number 1? So it's Jeff Bezos maybe, and then Elon Musk, or was Jeff Bezos number 3? I can't remember, but I know he just surpassed Bill Gates for number 2. Elon's on his way to the top.
Landed a booster for the 7th time, and of course, always lovely to see our payload deployment successful on the mission.
And that will bring our webcast to a close this evening. Thank you to the range and FAA for...
And thank you for giving us this experience. We appreciate that. Look at the glowy tree in the background. Whoa. It's Christmas. Not yet. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. I am totally against this kind of stuff before Thanksgiving. But then again, I'm old-fashioned. The lawyer wife must not be. Jeff Bezos still number 1, and Elon Musk is coming up quick. I thought Jeff Bezos was number 1. I mean, gosh, how can he not be with Amazon? I just bought like quite a few things on Amazon today. I always feel guilty about it too. I'm like, I'm giving more money to the Bezos. No, Kevin, but it's so convenient. You can do it while you're in the bathroom. I stole that joke from The Big Bang Theory. I forget how the joke goes. He's talking to his friend who owns a comic book store, and his friend's like, "Why would you support a conglomerate?" And the guy's like, "Oh, it's because I can do it while I'm on the toilet." And the comic book store friend's like, "Have you seen my place? My place is a toilet." I just butchered the joke, but it was worth it still for me personally. Can I see your dog? He's so pretty. He's pretty on the outside. On the inside, he's a little hellraiser. That's not it. Come on, Kevin. Get the right screen. We don't want doggo cam. All right, so he's stalking me from outside the room right now. Cairo. What are you doing, Cairo? Blipe. Sits. I doubt he'll do get out, but we'll try it. Get out. Get out. He'll only speak when he knows he's getting something like a treat or a toy. Plots. He speaks lazy German. We raised him as a pup speaking German, but then over the years we just got lazy and started speaking both German and English, so he knows both. Which actually turned out well, because now when we go to the vet, like, I don't have to tell the vet to say German words. They can just say whatever they want. And speaking of that, we have to go to the vet tomorrow. Taking both of them just for their annual shots and stuff. Yeah, Cairo spelled with a K. K-A-I-R-O. Kunu spelled with a K. K-U-N-U. It's Hawaiian for Chuck. And then you have Carrie, my wife, with a K, and me, Kevy, Kevy, Kev, Kev, with several Ks. Before we got Kunu, we rescued Kunu. Before we got Kunu, we were the KKK, so we had to hurry up and rescue Kunu so we could be K to the fourth power instead of K cubed. K cubed just didn't look good. All right, back to me before we tune out of here. Yeah, dude. Cairo, this one. Yeah, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, buddy. We've had him since he was 8 weeks old. He's he comes from a working line, so a lot of his relatives are police and military dogs. Got him out of Minneapolis. And then Kunu, the lazy puddle of fur in the corner there, we rescued him from eastern Pennsylvania a couple of years later. And we've had him since he was about a year old. Cairo is 6. Kunu is now 5. And Cairo will play all day, every day. He looks like he's chillaxing right now, but if I ignore him long enough, like if I'm working here at my desk, I'll look down and I'll see like a bunch of balls and toys at my feet, because he'll just keep bringing them until I stop ignoring him. So he's high maintenance. Kunu, though, he just chills. You let him outside, you'll find him an hour later just sitting in the middle of the yard in the grass, just staring at a grasshopper or something. He's funny. They're both boys. Neutered boys, so they're not real boys. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call today there, but thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on Friday for our SpaceX in the News episode 124. We're going to have lots to talk about. Until that time, Godspeed.